We're counting down to the 2023 general election holding next February and March. Yet we continue to tinker with the list of candidates participating in the polls. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has listed the name of Sadiq Wali as the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Kano State instead of Mohammed Abacha. A festering crisis within the PDP in the state led to conduct of parallel party primaries, which produced the sons of former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Aminu Wali, and that of the late head of state, General Sani Abacha. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court sitting in Abakaliki has decided who is the authentic candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, for Ebonyi South Senatorial District in the 2023 elections. The court recognized Ann Agom-Eze, who came second in the APC primary that produced Austin Umahi, while he later relinquished the ticket to Governor David Umahi, his brother. Delivering the landmark judgment, Justice Fatun Riman cited Section 115 of the Electoral Act, which forbids a person from standing for two different primary elections the same year. Okay, interesting times here.
Yes, these are interesting times. There are different cases that we are talking about here, but that of Sani Abacha is difficult for me to know what exactly the problem is.
Yes.
Because even INEC has not come out to explain why it took that action. INEC claimed earlier on that it attended the primary election that produced Mohammed Abacha as candidate of the PDP. So if you attended the primary election that produced him, how come it wasn't his name
On the list
that you pasted on the wall at the headquarters? Was it not Mohammed Abacha's name that the INEC office in Kano submitted? I have every reason to believe that it was Mohammed Abacha's name that was submitted to the INEC National, because the INEC public relation officer in the state said that much, that he cannot explain why it was not Mohammed Abacha's name that eventually was released. As for Akpabio, who is struggling to take the ticket of former policeman Ekudom, the law is clear that you cannot take part in two primary elections in the same electoral season. Peter Obi behaved like a smart politician. Just before the APC primary election, that he knew he would not win anyway, he pulled out, meaning that he didn't take part in that election, since he pulled out before the contest began. But in the case of Akpabio, in the case of the governor of Ebonyi State, they can't claim that they pulled out, because right up to election night, they were making speeches. Some of them decided to step down, but it was stepping down is not a way to say you didn't take part in the contest. No, you took part in the contest. So that way, they have contravened Section 115 of the Electoral Act, which says that you are liable to 2 years imprisonment if you fill nomination forms for two different positions in for the same elections. The general election of 2023, that's where those are the primaries that they are contesting for. And you fill forms for Senate, you fill form for presidency. So I can understand why that landmark judgment came. The governor's brother decided to step aside It was more like a placeholder. You know, he decided to withdraw. You are permitted by law to withdraw.
Okay.
Any reason you want to cite, you can withdraw. Because once you have won, nobody can take it from you.
Away from you.
Except through the courts. But he is permitted to withdraw. That's why the issue of placeholder, we won't be able to resolve it until the law is amended. Because if someone agrees to be placeholder, you already told him what to do. As soon as I'm ready, you withdraw. You put it in writing to any that you are withdrawing. Once you withdraw, nobody can force you to stay on. Once you withdraw, that person can come in. In this place, the brother withdrew. Now it's the woman that came second. Because the law does not permit the governor to take part in two primaries. The other person, the person who came first, had disqualified himself already, said he's not interested anymore. But if you are not interested, because this person has taken part in two primaries, it automatically shoots up the person who came second. That's the issue that the court has decided that, look, you are taking part in two primaries. I can't declare you the candidate. The candidate will be the person who came second. I'm sure that if that guy knew that that would be the case, he will have stayed on, so that the Umahis, at least one Umahi, will get it.
Yes.
But two Umahis are losers now, and the person who came third, the court has declared her the authentic owner of the ticket.
All right, Dotun, do you see this issue getting to the courts? And looking at the new provisions in the Electoral Act, how plausible is this?
I think that we should also still look at what the parties are doing. Because it's shocking that some of these things happen, even when there is no political party in the country that does not have a legal advisor. It's shocking. What the man in Kano said in the case of Abacha, that's Adam Ahmad Maulud, the Public Relations Officer of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Kano. Let me quote him. He said it is the responsibility of the parties to submit names of their candidates to INEC. And these are the names political parties submitted to INEC as their governorship candidates in Kano State, which we received from INEC in Abuja. Meaning that after INEC supervised the primaries, authenticated Mohamed Abacha as the candidate, the People's Democratic Party submitted the name of Wale. But you see, sometimes we on this side, we also get confused. Like the example BKO cited, in Akwa Ibom State, there is this confusion about who can be, who cannot be. There have been so many reasons given why Akpabio can't be the candidate. But in that case, the court also needs to now come in and speak. Because it means that if INEC allows PDP to change this candidate in this instance, and there is no wala with it, then it should allow APC to go and resolve its internal conflicts. That's the meaning. And then people, which is why we should always strive to ensure that the rules are the same. They are implemented at the same level. No confusion. Nobody is feeling aggrieved that why did you treat this man's case this way and you are not treating mine that way. The law is there. In Umahi's case, he lost in the court. If this remains the law, then it means that woman automatically gets the ticket. That's the meaning. So the parties must be careful the way they run now. You know, we've been saying these things over and over again. There must be internal democracy in those parties. That's what they are not observing. Somebody wakes up and feels, okay, why should a young man go and defeat an ambassador in a primary? So, okay, you have won on the field. We are going to win on paper. And that's what keeps happening everywhere. So we should be able to take our political party leaders to task on this. They should allow democracy to thrive. Don't take tickets away from those who have won.
All right, Mikhail, I continue to think about this. When political parties have parallel primary elections, is there nothing INEC can do about it?
INEC will eventually recognize one. Of course, INEC will also rely on the law courts to identify one of those factions as the mainstream or authentic faction of the party. That's what happens. Every election year we see factions. But at the end of the day, INEC will deal with one of the factions, and it's the faction recognized by law. Look at ABGA, for example. They also have their factions, you know. So we don't know how to stop politicians from all this factionalization. You know, it's like everybody's just trying his own hand at something, see what will succeed. But at the end of the day, INEC will do what is right by taking the candidates submitted by the faction that the law courts recognize as the authentic faction. I'm sure that's what will happen in this case. It happened in Anambra before the governorship election. The Victor Oye faction, you know, was the one that produced Soludo. And INEC still sees it as the authentic ABGA faction. I don't know what Mohamed Abacha may have done. This same thing happened to him in 2011. He won the primaries, governorship primaries of CPC. President Buhari, as the leader of the party, decided that he should not be the candidate of the party. Just like 48 hours to the election, they changed his name. The same thing was done in Katsina. And in those two states, President Buhari lost the election. You know, the CPC couldn't win those two states because people then voted against the people that were used to replace them. So, in any case, the PDP doesn't look capable of winning the election in Kano because of all kinds of crises, and Kwankwaso has since left them. But if Mohamed Abacha was the true winner of the primary, especially the one that INEC supervised, we should let him be the candidate. Let's see. Well, I don't think they want to take that risk. Maybe they think if he gets there, he could win the election.